Imagine this. You are in the very south of Russia, near city of Rostov-on-Don. About 20 kilometers from Rostov is a very old city of Azov. It's located on the Sea of Azov. As a matter of fact, the sea was named after the city, Azov. A sleepy, more like a town, a sleepy town, less than 100,000 people. Very old. It has a fortress, and its old name is Azak, that in Turkish language, in the Turk, means the flatlands, because it's located on flatlands. There is a fortress in Azov, Old Azak. It was built by the Turkish who owned Azov. The fortress was built at 1475. That was a part of Osman or Ottoman Empire. Well, before Turkish, Azov, or whatever city or town in place of Azov, was owned by the Greek. And if you drive into Azov, there's a huge sign, city sign. It says, in fancy letters, it says Azov, founded in 1067. So the city is over 1,000 years old. Again, the fortress of Azov was built by the Turks in 1475. Then Peter the Great, Peter I, the Russian Tsar, came to the south of Russia with his army and sieged Azov and took it. He signed the Constantinople peace treaty with the Turks in 1700, and Azov became part of Russian Empire. It's been Russian ever since, over 300 years. And I can't even imagine Azov not being Russian. It's a part of Russian history, it's a part of my culture, my family, and my life. I've been to the place many times, and this is Russia. Now, why Azov is important? Why am I talking about this town? Well, give me a few minutes. Welcome to Inside Russia. My name is Konstantin, and I am streaming live from the very heart of Russia, updating you on things happening in this country and things that are currently unfolding. Not too far from the Kremlin, about 20 miles, giving you what is really happening here right now. Thank you very much for joining, and I'm going to be talking about the Pandora box, about the genie that can be let out of the bottle and what might happen after that. Let me quote Russian President Vladimir Putin. On February 21st of 2022 this year, Mr. Putin, in a televised message, made a speech about Ukraine and the history of Ukraine. What I found important was his words about how Ukraine was created, the modern Ukraine was created. Now, I am going to quote Mr. Vladimir Putin. Modern Ukraine was entirely created by communist Russia. Modern Ukraine, more precisely, was created by Bolshevik communist Russia. The process began almost immediately after the revolution of 1917, and Lenin and his associates did it in a very rude way towards Russia itself. by separating part of its own historical territory from itself, from Russia, Mr. Putin said. According to Putin, no one asked about anything. Millions of Russians. Anything meaning, giving some parts of the state of territories to Ukraine. I continue quoting. Then, on the eve and after World War II, Joseph Stalin already annexed to the USSR and transferred to Ukraine some lands that previously belonged to Poland, Romania, and Hungary. At the same time, as a kind of compensation, Stalin endowed Poland with part of the original German territories, and in 1954, for some reason, Khrushchev took Crimea from Russia and also gave it to Ukraine. Putin recalled. Actually, this is how the territory of Soviet Ukraine was formed. Now, Vladimir Putin also said many other things, but that struck me very, very important, that this particular part. That was on February 21st, and on February 24th, Vladimir Putin announced that Russia was starting the special military operation against Ukraine. Russian troops attacked Ukraine and started rolling into Ukraine's territory. Well, basically what happened in the months that followed was very simple. Russian troops started pushing Ukrainians inland, inside Ukraine, further and further. There are two main, or there have been two main, in Russia they're called fronts, or parts of, how do I say that correctly? Parts of pushing. The south, Mariupol, Melitopol, and Kherson. Kherson is a very important city because it lays halfway between Russian border of Taganrog and Odessa. And also there was pushing in the north towards Kiev at first, Zaporozhye region, Kharkov region that actually borders Russia, and then towards Kiev region. Somehow, very strangely, Russian troops withdrew from Kiev region back into Zaporozhye and Kharkov, where they stayed until recently. What happened fairly soon after start of the special military operation, please forgive me for calling it this way, that's how it's called and allowed to be called in Russia. Basically, to manage the new lands that were occupied by Russian military, so-called military civil administrations were created. They consisted of Ukrainians, the locals, and basically, that administrations had legal control over the territories. And right when these administrations were created, Kherson, I believe Mariupol later, because there was a lot of fighting for Mariupol, Kharkov administration and Zaporizhzhia administration, when they were created, the talks of those lands joining Russia started circulating. I'm going to quote one of the top Russian politicians right now who publicly stated on the 6th of May, soon after this administration in Kherson was created, he said that Russia has come here to stay forever. It's not going to leave. But the fate of this land will be decided by the locals themselves. Well, usually when the locals decide fate of their land, that's called referendum. And, Russian officials agreed that referendum. So now, these administrations, they brought up the topic of referendum a few times over summer. The referendum whether to join Territorial Russian Federation or not. And the thing is, all the talks were originated in the administrations themselves. And the Kremlin and Russian Ministry of International Affairs, Foreign Affairs, they were silent. They did not comment in any way. They distanced, it wasn't not them, it was the administrations of the occupied territories. Not occupied, but in Russia they called controlled territories. So I want to be precise. So then sometimes towards the end of summer, there was a date set for a referendum in one of the provinces, or perhaps all of them, 11th of September. Well, 11th of September was a very symbolic date because Russian elections happened on September 11th, just a few days ago. But then, before September 11th, unusual, unexpected at least, thing happened. Russian army got up, backed up, and in a hurry regrouped, as we were told. Regrouped and moved someplace else from Kharkov region. But according to the plan. So everything was done according to the plan. That's the official information from the Ministry of Defense. And basically, Ukrainian troops just took over the entire Kharkov region. Referendum didn't happen. And it didn't happen in other provinces, in other administrations either. Now there are talks of a new date, the 4th of November. Period. I'm not going to be talking about that anymore. Why I think this is important? Because if this thing happens, if referendums are held, and somehow local citizens actually stand up and say, hey, we want to join Russia, one way or another. I'm just saying, what if this thing happens? And let's say Russia expands its boundaries, and it will include Kherson region, Mariupol region, part of Zaporozhye region, and Kharkov region. Well, Kharkov, there aren't any, well, anyway, perhaps, what if? The thing is, in this case, the Pandora box will be open. I'm not sure whether it's open already or not. If it is, in case of these new territories join Russia, this Pandora box that perhaps is already open will be open, wide open. Open much, much more, okay, so to speak. The genie, the big, ugly, scary, aggressive, rude genie will be out of the bottle. And, that will be a sign of bad times, very turbulent times coming to the entire world. I am going to tell you about a few regions of Russia, and I'm going to tell you that what if someone claims rights to those regions that are currently and have been the parts of Russia. For example, there are quite a few. I'm going to name you the 4 regions. The first is Kaliningrad, or as it was known before 1946, Königsberg, the capital of Eastern Prussia. Before it was known as Königsberg, it was known as Korolewicz, Polish. And before Twangste. I think it was Dutch. So, Potsdam Conference, the infamous Potsdam Conference, happened in 1945 after World War II, and Königsberg, along with lands of Eastern Prussia, temporarily became controlled by the Soviet Union, and later it joined the Soviet Union, and the city of Königsberg was renamed into Kaliningrad. It has remained a part of Russia, first part of the Soviet Union, and then part of Russia, and it's, when someone says Kaliningrad, there's not one single question that is our country here in Russia. It's part of Russia, although it sits right in the middle of Europe, in the very heart of Europe, and it does not have land access to Russia still. That's how we were brought up, that's how I know this. And not one single question in my mind that Kaliningrad is not Russian. But before 1945, it wasn't. It was German. In 1945, when Soviet troops, when this whole land became part of the Soviet Union, more than 20,000 ethnic Germans stayed and continued to live. I take it that they received Soviet citizenships later on. Some of them might even, maybe all of them regretted afterwards, but I don't know that. But I understand that some Germans, the ancestors of those people, perhaps some of those people are very old right now, they still can be living in Königsberg. They were Germans before, and then they became Soviet citizens. What if Germany stands up and says, hey, Russia, this is not Kaliningrad, this is Königsberg. And this is why. This is our land, and this is why, and presents proof, presents, reasons, the most important thing, reasons. Perhaps German chancellor comes with a speech, televised speech to the nation, stuff like that. What if? I'm not saying it'll happen, but what if? The second territory is Karelia, a part of Russia-Finnish War, Winter War of 1939-1940. As a result of that war, the war was very controversial. I'm not even going to get into that. Soviet Union basically started the war, and then that's a very tough topic for me to speak about. But as a result of that war, in Moscow Peace Treaty, 11% of Finland actually became the USSR, with the capital of that land called Vyborg, and it's still in Russian, it's called Vyborg. Same as with Kaliningrad. If someone tells me that Vyborg, something about Vyborg, all of a sudden it pops up in my head. It's a Russian land, it's a Russian city. That's how I was brought up, educated, Vyborg. It's as Russian as it gets, There's no way around it. But the thing is, Finnish have been trying, and I just learned that recently, Finnish, all along this USSR existence, they had been trying to somehow get that land back, and unsuccessfully. But now, Finland is part of NATO, result of Russia's special military operation, with aim to denazify and demilitarize Ukraine. Just happened that Sweden and Finland, the part of NATO, and the border of Russia with NATO increased by huge amount of kilometers. So Finland is not neutral, is not weak any longer. It's a part of North Atlantic Alliance, okay? What if Finnish will stand up and make an official request to Russia saying, hey, we kind of, this is a Vyborg. It's not Vyborg, it's Vyborg, something like that. What if? What if? The third and the most important, and I think the most pressing and the most dangerous region is none other than Manchuria. Have you ever heard of Manchuria? Chances are you haven't. That is a province of China. If you look at the map of China, you will see that Manchuria is the easternmost province that borders Russia. And the border goes along the river Amur, okay? And the modern border, okay, has been in place for a very long time. For us, for humans, for our lifetimes. But for the history, at the point of view, at history's point of view, speck in the history dust. Russian Empire, used Chinese weakness because China fought two wars. They're called the Opium Wars. One was from 1840 to 1842, and the second one was from 1856 to 1860. And China lost both wars. It lost to Great Britain, and China got humiliated. China got taken advantage of. China got, they tried to westernize it a little bit. But China kind of lost its way, and it lost territories to Russia. Because Russia used that moment and renegotiated the borders and the territory. And whatever north and east of river Amur became Russia. And if you look at it, it's a huge chunk of land. Huge. Thousands of kilometers. I don't know, like millions of square kilometers. Something like that. Basically, everything from Amur towards the Pacific and up north used to be called Manchuria. And it was China before 1958. There were two treaties. First was called Aigun Treaty. It happened in 1858, and the second was Peking Treaty. It happened 1860. First treaty, Russia got a little bit of land, and the second treaty, more land, okay? And that land has been Russian for the past, 150 years, over 150 years. So if anyone asks, this territory, who does it belong to, there's not one single question in our Russian minds. Come on, this is part of Russia. It has been. This is our land. Not your land, but our land, our territory. Chinese city Harbin sits right on the border, and a hugely densely populated area borders Russia. And in Russia, almost no people live on the side of Russia. It's taiga, it's the forests, okay? So, the question is, what if the Chinese all of a sudden kind of, go to the archives, so to speak, go through the pages and say, whoa, wait a second. How come? It used to be Manchuria, the great Chinese province or whatever. And they're gonna talk to us and say, hey, what do you think of those treaties? The Aigun and the Beijing treaties that we signed back 150 years ago. What do you think of them? What do you say we get back to them? And why am I saying this is the most important and the most pressing issue? Well, as a Russian citizen, I'm a little uneasy about that because, a lot uneasy because in early summer, Chinese army started huge military exercise, and it moved huge amount of troops into Harbin province, Manchuria. Of course, they're there to do some peaceful exercises, I don't have any doubts. I don't even want to propose like an atrocious idea of anything. I'm not an expert. I've made mistakes in the past, 7, 8 months ago, I was telling everyone that when Russia amassed troops in the western part of Russia next to Ukraine, I was telling everyone, we can do whatever we want. That's our territory. We will never, ever attack Ukraine. Why would we do that? Why would we do something like that? We would never do that. So I would never say anything like that ever again. So I'm thinking that Chinese are doing peaceful exercises and their troops just to protect borders, just in case, that's all. But what if? Has anyone thought of what if? And the fourth region is Azov. Well, it's a little comical because Azov has been part of Russia for longer than anything else, but hey, 1700, the Constantinople Peace Treaty, Peter the Great. All the territory around Azov was Turkish. It belonged to Ottoman Empire. What if Turkish find some old books, history books, and will say, hey, that's our land. That's very unlikely, okay? But Turkish are tough people. I wouldn't mess with them. What if? What if? By the way, my ancestors lived right on the border of Turkey, about 30 miles north of city of Azov, and they were protecting Russia's border from the Turks. They was living right on the border. So I know a thing or two about Azov. So what if? Genie is not out of the bottle. I don't know whether the referendums in Ukraine, in the controlled territories, will take place on 4th of November. I mean, it's only, 7 weeks away. We will see very, very soon. And it's not too late to keep Genie in the bottle. Because if it's out, then what ifs will be appearing not just in Russia, but all over the world. And I think that at this point we need what ifs like a dog needs the fifth leg. Okay, that's a Russian saying. Before I turn on comments, I would like to ask you to do two things. First, please share my message in the social media with your friends, with anyone who wants to watch. That would really help me out. And second, please comment about your area, where you live, and if anyone in the past, if that area changed ownership, so to speak, and if there's anyone that remotely could stand up and say, hey, is this really your land? How about us that it belonged, 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, 100 years ago, something like that? Please let me know of your land. Thank you very much. The comments are on. I'm gonna pour some more tea. Mommy number one. Hey, hey. Bruce, Kyle, Angelica at Life, Robbie Van Haren, Lorna, Rhesus, May, Frank, Justeri, Mr. E30, Emmer Makers, Patrick, Karen, John Liebold, howdy, howdy. George Walters, Jacob, Harry Potnan, howdy. Ferrari Guy, Robert, Mike, Joy, Marta, Tonya, Zangief, Vasya, howdy. Samsa, Solman, Finland online. Let me know what you think about Karelia. Frank Mueller, Roy Cousins, Mona, Luke King, and everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining. What do you think? Let me know of where you live and what do you think of the message. Frank Mueller, we have a new gifter of sponsorships. Frank, thank you so much. 5 people are sponsors, your courtesy of you. Thank you very much. If you want me, as usual, if you want higher chances of me noticing your message, please put it in caps and put my name after @ so it appears in the orange box and I see it clearly. Then there are chances I will see it and read it. Ryvan, welcome to Inside Russia. Thank you so much. You're lost in history. Patrick, could you please explain what is my lost in history? Personally, did I deliver something wrong? Did I make mistakes in history? I researched. Karen, howdy from Scotland. John Liebold says, you worry too much about China. It's a stack of cards. Well, you know what? I worry too much about China. I think I worry just enough. Lorna, commercials. Friends, unfortunately, I don't have say over commercials that YouTube places in my streams and videos. I'm sorry, there's not much I can do. But from what I'm seeing, Lorna's message, these commercials are not good. I personally have a premium account on YouTube, but I don't watch commercials. They don't bother me. I think it's like $5 per month or something like that. It's not much. So I suggest you do the same. Frank Mueller, greetings from Germany. Nice to see you all. Frank, again, thank you so much for gifting the sponsorships. Moch68, once again you failed to even mention Crimea. Look, I don't fail to mention Crimea. I don't mention Crimea on purpose because Crimea right now, Donbass and Luhansk are topics so dangerous, so hot that fire will burn me as soon as I mention. Trust me, I have not forgotten about Crimea, and please read between the lines. I think that's enough, but I will not speak up of Crimea, at least now. Adnan Delic, very important. Kuril, Sakkaku Islands. Japan never accepted the border with Russia. Excellent point. Kuril Islands, Kurilsky Ostrova, has been in dispute between Soviet Union and Japan for, I don't know, as long as I remember, as long as I was born, for 70 plus years. What if the Japanese claim their islands back? What if? Talks howdy howdy. Sweden's in the house. Texas, Ryan. Frank in Texas, Gennady Suganov. Независимая газета. I'm not sure what it means. Lars Henrik, howdy. AM Aztec. Well, that's very questionable statement you made, comment you made. Luke King, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for your message today. It was a unique perspective and really made me think. Thanks. So I did it not in vain. Good. Someone liked it. I'm really glad. Do you think China can be a partner with any country, or they need to see themselves at the top? Look, I think that China cannot be a partner with anyone. China is a culture of its own. It's very... I know I just scratched the surface of China. I worked a little bit with Chinese and I saw what they were trying to do to us. And from what I understood and heard from other people, it was very normal to the Chinese people, okay? They have different set of values, different agenda, different pride than us. We have Western values, okay? They have their own values. I doubt they, at this point of time, they can be partners to any country, okay? What can I say? Ernesto Sluja, inside Russia. What about Smolensk? It used to be part of Grand Duchy of Lithuania. Well, if you look at Russia's Ukrainians, Lithuania, and Poland, it is going to be interconnected throughout the history. I think it was a long time ago you're talking about. And that probably is true. K. Storterbecker. Thank you so much for having a virtual bourbon with me. Cheers from Hamburg. Been to Hamburg, fantastic city. I visited Hamburg Fair, something else. And my friend, this is not bourbon. This is tea from China, actually. It's called Puer. Not my favorite, but hey, it's decent. And this is to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. I'm Chin Chin. Yuri Bogomolsky, thank you so much. Appreciate it. No message, but $10 is message strong enough. Lorraine Proznovsky, thank you. Appreciate. Great to see you. The very usual suspect. Triggered from New Zealand. I am in New Zealand, which is a part of a Commonwealth, but this is a Maori land, and debatably, Moriori or Polynesian land. Before them, only history remembers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a good example. I personally want all the borders of modern countries frozen right now. I don't want any disputes, because disputes lead to conflicts, and conflicts lead to bloodshed, and this is the least thing that we need, okay? So I think that what we had in the 90s was pretty good in terms of political map of the world. Captain, thank you so much for 20 pounds. Quite a name you have. Thanks for your informative content. I wanted to share a song with you. I think the poetic lyric will respond with you. If you can, search for Pete Atkin, artist, and Tenderfoot. All best to you and yours. Captain, thank you very much. I will look it up. Thank you. Appreciate the message, and thank you for your support. Devon Harris, $5. Thank you so much. Read between the lines. What if Mongolia, when the Mongol Empire lands back from China and Russia, Mexico wants part of their land back from the US? That is my point exactly. What if? And then you know what? I just want that there are no precedents, okay? Because if there's one precedent, then some other person, nation, politician, normal, sane, or crazy, or whatever, can stand up, rise up, and say, hey, look at them. If they can, why can't we? And then, do we really need that? Daniel Julfane, is there a place I can contact you to chat with you besides YouTube? Daniel, please contact me via email. My email address in the about section. So thank you so much for the super chat. Drop me a line if you want. Angelic at Life. Thank you so much, my usual suspect friend. Hard to respond to this message without talking between the lines. So what I will say is good to see you. Well, you know what? I think your message between the lines is heard and understood by me, because I am a master at this point of speaking between the lines and sending messages like that. And I am also the master of reading between the lines. In early February, I did not have any experience. I didn't know how to send messages to read between the lines. But hey, it's been a very interesting time, So Angelic at Life, thank you so much. Andrei Mogasan, thank you. China was and is its own culture and country for millennia now. They've always been the main power in the area, exerting control on their neighbors. They were the Roman Empire of the East. Of course, they have their agenda. So, Andrei, you agree with me? Well, that's good to know. Thank you. King Nero, Japan wants the Kuril Islands back, so also, just saying. Thank you so much. That's a good point. Terry Holmes Jr., thank you very much. No message, but this message is $5 is message strong, pretty strong and powerful. Alesh Hein, Добрый вечер, Slovenia. Well, as a Slovenian, we could say that Carinthia, Klagenfurt, belongs to us since a lot of ethnic Slovenians live there. Wish you luck and all the best. Thank you so much for the support. Thanks for the message. And you know what? Point taken. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. But I have this image of Slovenians as the nicest, kindest people. And I don't think that what if question can be raised by Slovenians ever. I think you're I don't even know how to describe it. You're peaceful, decent, you're people the way people should be. Duke Fishing inside Russia. Imagine the Mongols saying, these lands are our lands. I know. Been to Mongolia, by the way. It's a beautiful country. They're so afraid of China. Oh. Speaking of which, let me tell you a little bit about Mongolia. We had a very long and important project in Mongolia. We were building a power plant there for years. We actually built a few power plants. And I know quite well lots of people. It's a tiny country, really. It's huge. It's like Europe, size-wise. But people-wise, 2 million people. One is the capital, Ulaanbaatar, and another million lives all over Mongolia, size of Europe. Okay? Is it size of Europe or size of Germany? No, I think it's size of half of Europe or something like that. Anyway, it's huge. Chinese are there. they're bringing their money, their technology, their influence, they're bribing officials, they're buying them off, and they're so aggressive that they're trying to push Russians out, and they have been very successful. Mongolians are so afraid of Chinese because they consider on their maps Mongolia as part of the province of China. So that is a very, very, very tough issue for the Mongolians, and I think Chinese are already rubbing their hands. Bob, howdy, howdy. This is a good one. Evu Dali. It's all good until Italians start asking for their lands back. Yeah, this is a good one. Yeah. The world, the political map of the world would be very different if the Italians would get the lands back. This is exactly my point, if you know what I mean. The point of the stream. Buddy's here. Lara, I'm from Greece, and I could talk for hours out of old homelands, but the most important thing is to respect modern treaties today and move forward. Thank you. I already said that. I wish that we just don't do anything stupid and don't try to reshape the world, because this is not going to be, it's not going to end up good. Damien Da Silva, thank you so much. $28. No message, but this message is pretty strong and powerful. I appreciate it. Thank you. Mr. Boot, Moroccan Sahara. It's ours for centuries, and Algeria says it's not. It's good to have someone from Africa. Thank you so much for showing up, and I hear your point. You made it very loud and clear. Northern Norway is here. Lifelin. Okay. N8, howdy. Guy L. Barbara D. Hi from Oklahoma. Northern Ireland. Mr. E30. Yes, we know you quite well. You're a very usual suspect. Ren. Livonia, Livin. Howdy. Linda, England. JV13. I check this channel every evening to see if this guy is still alive. Yours truly. I'm still alive. I'm still free. I'm still somewhat healthy. The thing is, we're all gonna die one day. And some people, some younger that I have known, I knew, younger than me dead, and some people lived until 100. So we all have our own unique paths, and I'm living mine. Insert name. I'm from former East Germany, and I am happy it's not Russian controlled anymore. Why, I bet. I bet you had your taste of Russian control until 1990. Terrible. Susan Hadley, thank you so much. The only time border disputes should be readdressed is if the treaties are violated. Everyone needs to honor the treaties. Agreed. Russia also had treaty with Ukraine and other countries. That's actually the Soviet Union fell apart. The treaty of we call it Belovezhskaya Pushcha Treaty. They were signed, and then the new countries were born: Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, Belarus, Russia, Kazakhstan, and so forth. That was a treaty. Garth McKyle, British Columbia, Canada. All the land where I live was once territory of Shishal Nation. There you go. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Mr. Polskia, Finland here. To be fair, I don't think we have much ambitions to get Viborg. Also, I have to add that when Finland invaded Karelia in 1920s, Karelians walloped us back to the Finnish borders. Look, I did not suggest, or I didn't think that you are going to have to stand up and get Vipori back. I didn't suggest you have much ambitions, and thank goodness, because I think that the treaties, they must be respected and honored by all. Okay, because again, if we don't honor treaties, if we try to reshape the map of political world, then there's just madness. This world will just become chaos. All our countries have very advanced weapons. Well, turns out to be not all, but most countries, Jeez. I'd better move on. Art Style City. Hello from the Netherlands. Live. Good evening. Ken, you missed one, Constantine, the Japanese islands. I didn't miss it. I left it out, because I thought that the 4 points will be good enough. But this is a dispute, okay, definitely, between Russia and Japan. Oklahoma here, it has changed hands. Yes, many of my neighbors are Cheyenne. Bob, I'm watching the time. Just checked top right part of the screen. Civic Steve, what's your suggestions for an American who wishes to immigrate to Russia? Go ahead and do it. What kind of suggestions are you expecting me to give you? Russia is a large country. You'll be safe here. There are many foreigners who live here. I personally know Brits, Aussies, Americans, no problem. Before 24th of February, after the 24th of February, no problem whatsoever. Please come and spend some time here, decide whether you like it or not, find a job and lead a life of a regular Russian, start a YouTube channel, share your thoughts with your comrades. I think it'll be good for Russia. Emra Makers, I wish some people were. Thank you so much for support, and I'm not so smart, Amir, good to see you, $5. Texas here, we used to be our own country. Many think we should revert. Please don't, because if you do, then many other states might follow your move, and the United States will cease to exist. I mean, it's such a great country. It would be a shame to see it fall apart, and then Robo, thank you. In the long history of humanity, everyone has owned and invaded someone else at some point. We need to leave the past where it is and look forward together. Thank you. I couldn't have said better myself. Okay, that's what I should have ended my stream with. Okay, thank you so much. My thoughts exactly. We can do so much more by getting along rather than trying to grab some land from one another, Greg Brogan, I was raised in Taiwan and now living in Hong Kong. Be cautious of China. Well, thank you. That's very valuable message coming from you, from the local. And I was born and raised in Russia. I lived in the United States, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, traveled all over. I haven't been to China, but I worked with Chinese. And let me tell you, all of you, please be cautious of China. Then, inside Russia, would it not be nice if we would all see that power is a dirty thing? Well, I think we're all seeing that. We know that, you know. What else we need to see? We just need to open our eyes and look around. Unfortunately, lots of people live as if they were sleeping. Daniel, thank you so much for super chat. Your email is not currently on your about page on YouTube. It is. You have to go from your computer, not your telephone. It's really strange. It took us a while to figure this out, but trust me, go on your desktop or laptop and go from there to the about page. It'll be seen in telephone, somehow it doesn't show. Tony Harty, Alaska is American Siberia. Yeah, what's next for Russia? You know, would try to get Alaska back? Well, we sold it. Renee Estelle, thank you so much to Inside Russia, the new sponsor. The new sponsors and the old ones, just a reminder that this coming Saturday there will be a sponsor-only live stream, patron-only and sponsor-only live stream. A little different from my daily streams, much slower paced, much slower in general. I answer lots of all personal questions, regular questions. In the streams, not as many people and not as many questions, and I'll get to every single question, so please come. Usually it's fun. Hantiki, my country, Norway, 800 years ago would include parts of Sweden, United Kingdom, Republic of Ireland, France, Faroe Islands, Iceland, Greenland, and most of the US, Canada, East Coast. That's true. That's true. I hope you don't have any ideas to claim those lands back. Paula McDonald, Constantine, you may need an inhaler to help your lungs finish healing. Albuterol, I don't think I'm fine. It's just being so close to the mic, it kind of gives you all the sounds of my like breathing and stuff. Ronald, thanks for your talk today. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Always plan to watch. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Frank, Marcia, all of the USA belonged to the Indians until we took it from them. Can you imagine what would happen if the Indians got it all back? We might be better off like that. Couple more questions and we'll wrap it up. Robbie Van Haren, that was so funny. Not all countries have advanced weapons. Well, it turns out that not all countries have advanced weapons. Let's put it this way. I was surprised. Not the word, kind of shocked. Mark, Constantine, should we give native Indians USA their land back? It's up to you. I mean, I hope it's not a question of giving them back. It's a question of them standing up and saying, hey, this is our land, you know. That treaty is not valid anymore. Get out or whatever, you know. Lee Pope, howdy, howdy. George Walters. If the leaders of nations were so smart, they would compete for people, not land. This is what makes a nation powerful. George, thank you so much. Couldn't have said it better myself. Ireland, Charles O'Rourke. Konstantin, your work is important. Respect from very little country. Well, your country might be not that big in territory, but trust me, it has left quite a cultural trace in the history of humankind. Everyone knows your country. Ferrari guy, should all of the former USSR states share the UN veto democratically? I'm not sure what it means. Didn't understand the message. Dr. Cornelius, the Stasi was firm but fair. Not sure what you mean by that. Barbara D enjoyed the message. Thank you so much. Ivan Zlatar is here. Linda McLeod, you are very welcome in Scotland one day. I'd love to. I'm not sure how things are turning out for us Russians, but whether we'll be able to get out or not, and how easy that's going to be. Wojtek Fictus, what do you think about DEAD? Maybe about Belt and Road Initiative? Well, that's a different stream. Belt and Road Initiative is a weapon of expansion for Chinese. I'm not an expert on that. I have very shallow knowledge, so therefore I know quite a bit about DEAD, and I know that Chinese are using DEAD to expand their influence, but that's all I know. Some people say that they have failed to expand their Belt and Road Initiative has failed. Some people say that they have succeeded. Not sure. Scott Nesbitt, the last question for today. I feel that Russia will get help from North Korea. Yeonmi Park, she was saving North Korea selling things to Russian. Oh, I don't know what to say about that. Okay. My friends, thank you very much. I've had quite a few people wrote that they liked the message, they liked the stream. That really is important to me. That gives me motivation to keep on going. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Thanks for excellent messages, comments, and thanks for a few people giving gifts of sponsorship to others. Appreciate it. I would like to invite everyone to finish this live stream with a prayer. The list has grown quite large, so quite long. I hope I will not miss anyone. I will do my best. Thank you so much. Dear God, thank you so much for giving us wonderful day and wonderful life. Thank you for giving food on our tables, giving us roofs over our heads, surrounding us with people who love us and who we love. Please help our children, keep them healthy and safe. Please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Please reach out people who can make decision to stop the bloodshed and touch their hearts, fill their hearts with love, empathy, remorse, make them tender, make them loving, make them righteous, open their eyes so they will make decision to stop the bloodshed. I'm also asking for two leaders, Vladimir Putin and Joe Biden. Please reach out and touch their hearts too, fill them with love, mercy, empathy, forgiveness. Make them soft and tender so they make decision to stop the bloodshed. Please help everyone who's been affected in the country of Ukraine, affected by this tragedy, by the recent events. Please help everyone, answer everyone's prayers, give them what they're asking and what they need, give them strength, give them forgiveness, please give them recovery. Send help their way, answer their prayers, make their wishes come true, please. Send angels to every single person in Ukraine to keep everyone out of harm's way, so not one single drop of blood is shed anymore. Please help everyone who is helping Ukrainians, opening their hearts, homes, wallets, praying for them, sending good wishes. Help these people. Help everyone who's traveling, send and fleeing, running for their lives from their countries because of a fear of being prosecuted. Please send help their way. Help all pregnant women who are right now deciding whether to keep babies or not. Please reach out and talk to them so they make the right decision. Please surround them with the loved ones, support of the families and the friends and the loved ones. Please give us wisdom and smarts to raise our children the way that when they grow up they will make this world a better place and there will be no more wars. They will never go into war with one another, but will love and befriend one another. Please help my country send strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael, to get rid of the demons that have hijacked my country. Please have it run by angels, make it righteous. Thank you so much for bringing us all together here into this community and letting us pray. Thank you very much. Help everyone who is praying along or watching us pray. Answer their prayers and make their wishes come true. I would like to ask for a few people who need your help. Please help Michael Milkovich. He's heading to blood transfusion. He needs your help. Please help Cindy Braddock. She's going for a surgery with her arm. Help Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Igor, Buzz, Jean-Paul, Paula, Janine, Marlene, Susan S., Fiona, Stephen, Alan, Freddie, Sabrina, Felicia, Preachy S. Father, family of Rudy Kaisley, Richard, Robert Morgan, Mallory M. Please help with her professional situation. Just Terry, Brittany S., Lars Henrik's father, Wait for It, Lena Hankins, Reese Gray, who we haven't seen in quite some time. Everyone who is having anxiety or depression, please help them. Bridget Apley, please help with her PTSD. And may Scott Nesbitt's sister rest in peace and give Scott strength to cope with pain. Also, please, may soul of Britzel Andrews rest in peace, and please help her family to also cope and deal with pain. Michelle, Priscilla, King Nero, Golden Griffon, Gaby Hyman, Martin, John, Donald from Wisconsin, Allison Dave Moyers. I found Waldo, Liz, Deborah, Isabel Ligo. May her father rest in peace, and please help her with the pain. Janice Burgess, Maureen M. and her sister, Ariana, Liz Dumbrell, Bruce, Kayleen, Michael, Thomas, Tony, Bob, Jessica, Minutes to Midnight, Sandy Workman and her husband, please help him. Mr. Hanson, Haiti Howitz, Carol Reed, and Terry Carter. Also would like to ask for 3 children, for Maverick, Sebastian, and Coulter. Please perform your miracle, show the miracle to them and their families. They really need your help. Please have them recover and sent home to their families. Thank you very much. Our Father, Lord Jesus Christ, thank you. Amen. My friends, thank you very much. Thank you for giving me another chance coming and watching my stream. I share what I find important these days in my country, and hope you liked this message and found it valuable. I have another message coming up tomorrow and day after tomorrow and on Sunday and all the days to come. You're awesome and you rock. Please keep on coming back for more. I'll see you tomorrow.